Alright, welcome back to the Undrafted Experts. I'm here once again with the Naval Potato,
Buddy.
as well as Timothy. And we're back at it again with the AFC North. And man, there is nothing to talk about here with the Ravens.
There's
there
more
are
to talk about
there are
than you think it is.
there is, but on
These
paper it
are
does not look like much.
4 quality deals.
Yes,
Well-
I know it is. So they brought back Patrick Ricard. They signed Morgan Moses, Michael Pierce, and Marcus Williams. And so far, at least, we're recording this on what is today? The 25th.
The 25th,
technically?
26th.
Well, technically the
26
26th now. Yeah.
For y'all. It's still the 25th for me.
But we're just gonna call it the 25th. So this is the same time we recorded the AFC East. So we still have nothing on any other free agents. I mean, Marcus Williams is going to be a pretty good signing for them. They needed a really good safety help.
I like the Marcus
This-
Williams signing.
This
I
is
know
a
that they
lot.
lost Wink Martindale, their defensive coordinator, so I hope that this is kind of their new defensive coordinator taking Marcus Williams and being like, this is our guy. This is one of the guys that we're going to build our new defense around.
Fucking would hope so with the 5-year deal.
Hey, you never know, man.
This is some pop franchise shit right here, dude.
You know what? I agree. This is poverty franchise. Fuck the Raven. No, I'm playing. I
like it.
I have somewhat of
know.
respect for the Ravens. I don't have respect
I-
for some other teams in this division.
No,
I
so
like him bringing back Ricard. Ricard's good to bring back. He's a fullback, but he's a utility guy. He's really good. Morgan Moses is good. Like Morgan Moses, solid pickup. Michael Pierce, solid pickup. I don't have a bunch to say.
So you know what my
Same
grade
thing
for
as
this?
Marcus Williams,
Solid
kinda
pickup.
hold on. So let me amend my statement. I want to say poverty franchise shit, but this is like no cap space shit.
That's more like it. They're trying to plan for Lamar Jackson's extension, which should
It's gonna be
honestly have already
expensive.
happened, but they're still working on it.
It's gonna
That's
be
going to be a
expensive.
big ass contract, so they're just trying not to fill the books up before they bring in their QB.
I don't think it'll be
So-
Mahomes big, but it'll be massive.
I hope it is, because then
Really?
we'll watch what happened to the Chiefs, happened to the Ravens, and I love to see that.
Of course,
Man, you can tell him at AFC North. you can tell I'm a fan of the AFC North.
Of course, he would be Yinzer.
Yep. Anyway, Tyler, what's your grade?
Ugh. I know I get the reasons behind it, but at the same time, it's so hard to judge off of 4 pickups. So I'm gonna have to give it like a solid C.
All right.
There's just not much to talk about.
All right, Tim.
Quality over quantity, and these are 4 solid. These are 4 quality pickups. I really like the Marcus Williams pickup, but outside of that, there's nothing spectacular. But all really good all solid players that they should bring in and should have, and are good to keep on your roster. So I'm gonna go with a B-.
All right, that's fair. And it's going to be surprising to hear that a Steelers fan is going to give the highest grade for the Ravens out of all of us here. I'm actually going to go with a solid B. I mean, I really do like that Marcus Williams signing, especially considering the injuries that plagued the Ravens last year in the secondary. Michael Pierce is going to be really good for them as a solid nose tackle. Morgan Moses should be a great Villanueva replacement, since he retired this offseason. So yeah, I'm going to give this a B. Alright, moving on to the Bengals. They re-signed Brandon Allen to be the backup. They brought in Hayden Hurst, Lyle Collins, Alex Kappa, Ted Karras, BJ Hill, Josh, not trying, Eli Apple, What? You say Tupac?
Yes.
Oh my god. Franchise tagged Jesse Bates and re-signed. They re-signed Michael Thomas, guys. He's gonna be their new wide receiver 3 now.
Wide receiver 6.
And then they re-signed their long snapper Clark Harris. Um,
There's another team that re-signed a long snapper.
We'll get to them later.
we'll get to them in a few videos. Subscribe to see those.
Foreshadowing. There you go.
Foreshadow.
Use that in your English class.
Or don't. We can't tell you what
Yeah.
to do. Anyway,
Okay. Anyways,
let's actually
I like
discuss this
Hayden Hurst.
fucking class.
I like Hayden Hurst. I obviously their offensive line is retooled. I love it. They've done incredibly well. Having Lyle
finally helped
Collins
Burrow.
and Jonah Williams as tackles, both of which are going to be pretty good. Having Alex Kappa and Ted Karras, I think both are going to be good. Then they can grab one probably even one. They can probably even afford to grab one more offensive lineman in the draft, and then bam, they have a completely new offensive line, completely new retooled offensive line, and the Bengals haven't really spent much outside of money.
Yeah. I mean, this is exactly what the Bengals needed. As much as I hate it, bias aside, this is exactly what the Bengals needed. I mean, you watched it in the Super Bowl. The interior of that offensive line collapsed in the second half. So they've
Teams
gone
just started
out and
running.
they just
They
decided,
did the
fuck it, we're
meme.
signing
They did
everything.
the meme.
They re-signed Eli Apple though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
know
one
that
is
gets minus
confusing.
points from me. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be of a slightly unpopular club. It's not the worst signing in the world.
Oh no, it's not.
I don't like
no.
Eli Apple, but if Eli Apple did not get on Twitter and talk shit all the time, Eli Apple would be more liked, and he would just be this guy that plays corner and is okay. So he gets burned.
Yes.
He does get burned, but every corner who's not J.C. Jackson or who's not J.C. Jackson gets burned.
And
Yeah.
Jalen, well, actually, no, Jalen Ramsey did get burned during the Super
Okay,
Bowl.
that was
Never
just
He got
I just wanted
he
to
kind of
give
got
like you know
thrown,
what I mean.
but anyway.
No,
it's
that's beside the point.
not the point.
Back to this.
But this is actually a really good one. Franchise attacking Jesse Bates was really good because he played so well for them last year. It
Yeah,
would have been preferable.
I hope they do end up coming to terms with an extension because he's a really solid player for them. He'd be their franchise safety for the next 5 years at least if
At
they
minimum.
keep him around.
It's one of the problem is blah, blah, blah. One of the reasons they might not think he could be their franchise is because he will never be maybe not never, but he'll have a hard time being one of those big name safeties like Troy Polamalu, Tyrann Mathieu,
Well,
people like that.
let's be
He doesn't
honest. Those
have to
kind of
be. That's
safeties
the
come
thing.
like one. They
He
come a dime a dozen.
doesn't have to be.
Not-
The
not
problem that
to
I
say-
see with it is
that's
it's
not to say.
almost
Hold on, Tim.
it's
Hold on.
almost time. It's almost time to pay the. It's almost time to pay that backfield, and
Yeah.
they're going to
That's
run
not-
out of money. And I
That's
think
not
that
to
they're
say
seeing
I
this
was
as.
meaning- hold
I
on.
think that they're kind of seeing this as, okay, we can afford to go in right now. We can afford to go in and tag Jesse Bates, but it's going to be, I believe, next season they're going to have to re-sign T. Higgins, which is not going to be cheap.
No.
And then
So-
the season after that, it's going to be Burrow, and then it's going to be Jamar Chase, and all three of those are going to be massive contracts if they all come back.
Well, see, Tim, I'm not saying that it'd be bad, but it'd be preferable if they got like a 5-year deal out of him right now. Because that if he does become like a generational talent, they won't have to chuck
Yeah,
out the
that's what I
entire
was trying to
franchise
say.
for it.
There we go. That's what I was trying to say when I was saying that whole dime a dozen thing. I was talking about being a generational talent. You know, Tyron, you're not gonna see many Troy Polamalu types. You're not gonna see a Tyron Matthew on every team. It doesn't happen.
No.
I mean, we might be seeing one coming in this draft in Kyle Hamilton. I could see it happening,
Next
but
Cam Chancellor.
I mean, we'll see how it all turns out. And I actually kind of like that comp. It's actually not bad. Um, but anyway, this is not a draft video. This is free agency. So, without further ado, Tyler, what's the grade?
Um, I mean, other than the meme of the Eli Apple, this was an excellent free agency working on their offensive line, especially in the interior. I have to give this one an A+ on it.
Oh, A plus. All right, Tim.
I 100% agree. I was gonna go A plus. They're gonna be one of my 2 A pluses in the entire free agency rating. It's an A plus for me. I don't think you can get much of a better offseason than they got.
All right, that's fair. Well, call me biased or whatever. I don't care. I'm just gonna knock it down one. I'm just gonna go with the flat A. My main thing. I mean, the O line, great additions. I won't deny that. I think you could have you could have gone out and got a little bit more at corner than just bringing back Eli Apple. The secondary, in my opinion, still needs some work. Maybe that's the plan in the draft is to go out and get a cornerback either round 1 or 2. But still a really good class, so that's why I'm going with the flat A. Um, yeah, this should be one of the better teams next year. I mean, we saw them last year go from being expected to do next to nothing to being in the Super Bowl. So, who knows what the Bengals will do?
They could be getting a ring this year.
Yes, they could. And I hate to think about it. All right, moving on to my team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We kept Dwayne Haskins around to be the backup for next year. We brought in Mitch
Titty Hitler.
Kissintitties to be our quarterback for, I'm assuming, the next 2 years. I mean, that's what we signed him for, but who knows if he'll be our quarterback for that
4
entire
years.
time span.
4 years.
We brought back Okorafor. Not a good signing in my opinion, but we digress. Brought in James Daniels, Mason Cole, Miles Jack. We kept Robert Spillane around for another year. We re-signed Arthur Mollett. We brought in Levi Wallace, re-signed Akella Witherspoon, re-signed Miles Killebrew, and then we brought in Gunner, still don't know how to say his last name, from the Patriots to be our kick returner.
Well, let's see.
There you go. Alright, so this is interesting. As I said, not a big fan of the Okorafor signing. I think we can do much better than signing him for 3 years at $30 million. Like, I get it. We're
He's
keeping
not
him
worth it.
around because I get that we're keeping him around because we don't feel like that we're gonna be able to get a good right tackle in the future that could do what he can do. Because he's not the worst, but I don't think he's worth that much money. Like,
10 mil a
okay,
year.
3 years, 20 million. I could
Yeah.
kind of live with that. 3 years, 30 mil. That's an overpay. That's just paying him just so you can say you paid him, in my opinion. I do really like the Mitch Trubisky signing. Some fans, considering I'm in the Steelers circle, some fans are very against this. But I think there's a very good chance that Mitch Trubisky could have it somewhat of a rebound in Pittsburgh. I mean, when you think about it, the Bears really did him no favors. And then he sat behind Josh Allen, who, if you remember, that's the same quarterback coach who turned Josh Allen, who was a technical mess in his first 2 years, and turned him into a top 5 quarterback out of nowhere.
One season,
So
too.
there is a chance that some of that might have rubbed off on Mitch Trubisky. We will see. But I'm hopeful that Mitch Trubisky can at least be a solid quarterback for the next couple years. And of course, Dwayne Haskins keeping him around, that's fine. He's probably not going to start for us, but just in case, he's there. I do think, because it's pretty well known that Pittsburgh's going to try to draft a quarterback, I think Trubisky's going to be the definition of a transitional quarterback, but we'll see how that goes. James Daniels should be our starting right guard or left guard, depending on how we want to line him up, for not just these 3 years, for the rest of his career. Because he's only 24, and I truly don't understand why Chicago let him go. He's one of the top. I'd call him like a top 10-ish guard.
Stop
Like
joking off your team already. Goddamn.
Shut up. This is my moment. Mason Cole, solid signing. Needed something other than fucking Kendrick Green to be our center. Miles Jack, thank you very much, Tyler. I appreciate
Fuck
that
you.
gift.
God, you're signing fucking. God damn it, man.
I don't know why. Well, I understand why you let him go, but like, damn.
Yeah.
They'll be great for the black
retarded.
and gold. Spillane's alright. Millette's alright. Wallace will be a CB2. Witherspoon could be a CB1. I really don't think he's got that. Killebrew is a great special teams guy. Same with Gunner. And with that, I'll finally shut the fuck up. You guys, what's your opinions?
Yeah, that's great. He was being nice about these guys, and I'm probably about to shit on a lot of them.
Okay.
Mitch Trubisky is it's Mitch Trubisky. They didn't spend
It's
so
pretty good,
much
sir.
time in Buffalo rehashing his mechanics. He's not the starting quarterback.
No.
They probably spent a decent amount of time like, hey, Mitch, you're going to be able to go into a game and you're going to be able to be half of Josh Allen, and half of Josh Allen isn't bad, but it's Mitch Trubisky. Okay, he may have won the MVP, and he may be the MVP in our hearts, but he's not great. I don't mind the James Daniels signing. I think I kind of like that. It's good. And the Steelers' entire redemption for their entire offseason, which hasn't been the best in my opinion, is Miles Jack. And bringing Miles Jack in after the Jaguars cut him and let him walk out of that building, it's fantastic for the Steelers. Fantastic Joe Schobert replacement. Going to play way better than Joe Schobert did last year.
Yeah, the only thing is, like, this team has been, like, the free agency was just overwhelmingly average. There's, again, no big names, no big splashes, really. None of the teams, none of the names stick out to you other than Trubisky and Jack. That's it. And even then, Trubisky is, as Tim said, mediocre at best. Miles Jack is an excellent middle linebacker. Why we let him go, I don't know. We're retarded. That's all.
Hey.
But fuck you. You can bleep it out.
YouTube,
He's
man.
gonna have
You
to
can bleep it out.
God damn it! I have to do more than just my normal cutting. Damn it!
Yes.
No, he's gonna cut that one word. We're actually gonna have to cut this whole part now.
Just
May
none
as
of
well
what
make it
Tyler's
worth
saying.
it, retard.
Anyway.
Oh my god!
Anyway, we're just so
That'll kind of be
dumb.
your start-stop signal.
Anyway, it'll just be. We were just so dumb. It didn't help that with everybody that we signed so far. We'll get to it later, but only have $1.5 million left. But this Steelers offseason has just been overwhelmingly average. They could have done so much more with what they had. They could have at least tried to pick up some better offensive linemen than what they did, signing out Horford.
There were
He's
better offensive
garbage.
linemen in the market. If they went out and grabbed Lyle Collins, I'd be much happier with their class.
Oh yes, but re-signing a core for at $30 million, it's just garbage. He was terrible last year. I don't know much about James Daniels, so I can't really say much on him.
I've seen enough about him to know that he should be pretty good for us. At least that's my hope.
Yeah.
And I figured you guys were gonna shit on this because this, compared to like most of these classes, it is average.
I am.
But
you're
when
gonna
you're
hate my grade.
when you're oh, I know I am. But when you're a Steelers fan who has watched many years of free agents just go right on past us, and we finally decided to just sign somebody, I'm hyped that we did something. And I mean, this is one of the ones where we're still not sure of because we don't know yet. But there are talks that the Steelers might end up bringing in Tyrann Mathieu. That would be great for us. I mean, then again, main concern for me is the fact that him and Minka pretty much play the same spot, but they're two
Wait. No
extremely
cheating.
talented
No cheating.
safeties.
No
No
cheating.
cheating. That's a
No cheating.
hypothetical. You're trying to get
Oh,
us
I'm not
to view
changing.
this in a more
Oh, I'm not
positive light.
changing my
You're
grade.
cheating.
I'm not changing my grade because of that. I'm sticking to the grade I had before. I'm just saying that that's a hypothetical. We don't know yet, but that would be a great one if we can get him. Probably won't. It's the Steelers. We won't. But anyway, I'll let you two shit on my team for another few minutes here. What's your grade,
Tyler,
Tyler?
go ahead. What were you thinking?
I'm thinking a C plus only because of the Miles Jack pick. Well, pick up
They get
rather.
from me. They get a D plus, and the D plus was elevated from a D minus right after they signed Miles Jack.
All right. Well. All right. I was. I mean, I
Zach's about
wasn't
to
gonna.
say, I had them as a B plus.
No, but that was close, you asshole. Anyway,
it was an A minus.
no. I'll go with the B minus, I guess. I mean, the Miles Jack signing is going to be a great one, especially if after the 2-year deal we can keep him around for longer. And like I said, I think James Daniels is going to be really good for us. Of course, it's a guard, so not many people are going to talk about it, but considering how bad we needed O-line help, we actually brought in somebody at least. It's improvement, kind of. And on to the last team of the AFC North. We got the Cleveland Browns here. There are some interesting things to discuss with this team. So I guess let's talk about the first one here. Deshaun Watson traded to the Browns, along with the 2024 6th-round pick for the next 3 first-round picks from the Browns, a 2023 third-rounder, and 2 fourth-rounders, while also giving him a fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract.
Here, let's go look at the rest of the signings first in
Yeah,
the trade.
let's move along from that actually. So then they also brought in Jacoby Brissett, 1 year's, 4.6 mil. Amari Cooper got traded to the Browns from the Cowboys for a 5th rounder and a 6th round swap. Jakeem Grant was also signed for a 3-year deal. They franchise tagged David Njoku, acquired Chase Winovich after trading away Mac Wilson, and then signed Taven Bryan and re-signed Anthony Walker. Well, Tim, I think you might have a few things to talk about with the Amari Cooper deal.
Good job, Browns. You fleeced the Cowboys. For the people who say the cap isn't real, you're right for the most part. Dallas is just a bunch of cheap bastards, and Cleveland capitalized on it. So, good job.
Damn, don't remember the shit y'all gave me when Jacksonville traded Schobert for the 7th-round pick from the
Yes,
Steelers?
but Schobert was declining. Amari Cooper is in his fucking prime, and
Come
we
on,
traded a top
but you
10
got a
wide
5th.
receiver for a 5th-round fucking pick.
Yeah, but you got a 5th-round pick. Don't you know those are way more profitable than 7th-round picks?
Absolutely not. Anyway, I don't want to argue this. Good job, Browns, for capitalizing on Dallas's stupidity.
All right,
Well,
and then some
I
other
guess
things. David Njoku, that's a good player to franchise tag with. Didn't Austin Hooper leave?
That's an
yes.
expensive franchise tag for David
Oh yes, it is.
Njoku.
Oh, it's a very
But there's not.
expensive one.
But I don't think that there's a real. I don't think there's a tight end that you could go out and say this guy's in free agency at least that you could say this guy's 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if they went out and grabbed OJ Howard, but it's decent job, Browns. $10 million's a lot to pay David Njoku, but
Yeah, it is. It is. And then I really like the Jakeem Grant signing as well. He should be very solid for him.
Taven Bryan was a Jacksonville Jaguar. He's
Yeah, wasn't he a
meaty.
first rounder?
No, he was I don't. He's either a first or a second rounder, one of the two. He was never really much. He was mediocre at best.
So yeah, 1 year, 5 mil. That sounds about right for an average D tackle.
Mm. And
Jacoby Brissett, solid considering you're probably actually almost guaranteed to either trade or cut Baker Mayfield now.
mhm.
Solid to get yourself a backup.
Jacoby Brissett is just Baker Mayfield, and he looks a little different.
Yeah.
A little.
I would
a
argue that
little.
he makes smarter decisions too, but that's just because he's been a backup for so long.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. And then we have to address the elephant in the room here.
So here, let
Deshaun
me start
Watson.
with this.
Okay, before we
Hold on, hold
address
on.
any moral complaints, before we address that, I would just like to point out this is actually less than I expected for him to get traded for. I expected to see 2 firsts. The deal that I expected the Browns to send was 2 firsts, Kareem Hunt, Denzel Ward, and probably a late round pick or two. So this is
No,
actually if we just look at picks, it's less than the original asking price. So
no,
they
no.
kind of
This
got a
is
bargain.
a bargain. Losing all 3 of your first
No,
round
no, no,
picks in
no,
the
no, no,
next
no.
3 years is a bargain.
It's like getting 25% off of a $4,000 item. Okay.
Try more like a 10% discount on a fucking 100 grand car.
Okay, but
No,
now they
even
don't lose
better.
Denzel
Five
Ward. So
percent 5% discount on a $300,000 house.
Literally, this trade was ridiculous. It was. This was really extremely dumb by the Browns, especially when it became really up in the air there for a minute, and they antagonized Baker so much. It's like, good job. You're antagonizing the quarterback that you have currently because you might get a new quarterback.
Yeah,
And
that part to me was what
congratulations.
that part to me really did irritate me. The fact that if they had at least told Baker like, "Hey, we want to at least talk, see if we can maybe get Deshaun Watson. We'll keep talking to you about potentially bringing him in, but for now, until something else happens, we're gonna keep you as the guy." From what the reports were, they didn't even say a word until they just appeared in trade talks.
Yep.
That's not how you treat your quote unquote franchise quarterback. I know some Browns fans might say that Baker and other NFL fans might say that Baker Mayfield's not a franchise quarterback. When you're the Browns and you haven't won shit for 20 fucking years,
He's a franchise
a guy
quarterback.
that can just get you above 500 is a franchise quarterback. All right?
Would they like to go back to Tim Couch?
Exactly. Would you like Johnny Football again? Do you want
No.
that again?
But I mean, being a Jaguars fan, I am happy that Deshaun Watson's out of the AFC South because now I don't have to face his escapee ass
Bullshit.
twice a year. I don't have to face that bullshit twice a year this year.
Yeah. I don't know.
But at the same time, he's still dealing with those court cases in Texas, like actually bringing this up. Not the morality part of it. Fuck that. Y'all are dumb if y'all even think about that currently. But
I mean,
shut up. No, I'm
it
talking about the
appears to
fans.
be. Hold on. It appears to be that he's not going to face any criminal charges. Even though the last one just got cleared today.
Oh,
So
that's what
it
they
looks like
cleared
it's going to
today.
be totally civil. So the Browns are probably going to get him, and he's going to play. Even if he gets suspended for a year, they've still got him for the next 4 years, 5 years.
Okay. Yeah, that was the first I hear that he got officially cleared from everything.
Yeah.
Okay, not
When,
cleared, but they decided not to
They're
have a
not going to
trial.
give him any
yeah,
criminal charges from what we're hearing.
yeah, that's yeah. Um, is this it's a smart yet extremely stupid trade. Because Deshaun Watson is an amazing quarterback, but at the same time, it's such a steep price, not just with the picks, but also the guaranteed money. It's
Yeah,
too steep
It's
of
a
a
lot of
price,
money.
in my opinion.
it
It's too steep of
is.
a price.
I don't know. I mean, am I gonna be happy as a Steelers fan having to deal with Deshaun Watson twice a year for probably the next 5 to 10 years? No, not at all. I'm already sick of the fact that I have to deal with Lamar and Burrow. Now you're adding another fucking top tier quarterback when he's on the field. I mean, Jesus Christ. We're in a Pittsburgh is in for it, but Cleveland, you've got your guy, whether you want to believe it or you don't, or want to be happy about it or you don't. That is the guy that Cleveland wanted. They got him. Cost you a fuck ton of picks, but there you go. There's
Shit,
your franchise guy.
shit ton of money. Jesus Christ, he's not gonna be able to sign anything next year.
No. To me, this contract is almost the equivalent of the Mahomes contract when you think about it.
It
So,
honestly is, especially with taking all of Amari Cooper's contract.
yeah. Well, with that, I kind of want to move on from the Browns. So, Tyler, what's your grade?
This is honestly a C. It could be lower, but because of the fact that it is good talent, it's gonna be a C.
All right, Tim, you
Oh,
know the drill.
yeah, you're right. I'm next. Well, I mean, the money's a lot, but money's money, and cap isn't real, and all that nonsense. So, high-end talent. I like high-end talent, no matter how much you give it up for. And they got an absolute steal for Amari Cooper, so I'm gonna give him a B.
All right, that's fair. I'm gonna go with the B minus. I really do like the Amari Cooper trade. I think, as Tim said, the Browns fleeced the Cowboys. But other than that, I mean, Deshaun Watson should be your franchise guy, but that's a fuck ton of money you gave up. I understand the whole thing that there's a ton of ways you can restructure it, whatever. That's still a ton of money you got to move around almost every year if
And
you
then
want to bring in some good talent around him. So
also
B
A
minus for
Cooper's
me.
contract.
Well, isn't Amari Cooper technically a free agent next year?
I have no idea.
I believe he's
Pretty
got 2 years left on his deal.
It's 2 years. Okay.
hmm
I couldn't remember because if it was only a 1 year, just take it for the year and then try to extend him, then it might not be as
Oh
bad as you think.
no, but if it's a 2 years, that's still a shit ton of cap hit to
Yeah,
eat.
that is gonna be a lot.
They're not gonna be able to do anything next year.
Don't
Yeah,
worry, cap isn't real.
Shut
yeah,
up, Tim.
they'll
It's because
they'll
you're a
figure
Cowboys
out a way
fan.
around it. Let's be real.
Oh, they
All
will.
right, well,
There are cap wizards in the NFL, and
It's
every
called
yep,
team
or
has one,
Pittsburgh has one
except
of
for the
them.
Cowboys.
it's called cutting Miles Garrett.
You know, I could honestly possibly see that happening if it got that desperate. I could see them pulling some shit like that.
I mean, they just got Chase Winovich.
I'm ending that there. All right, thank you all for watching. I refuse to acknowledge what he just said. You can flame him in the comments all you want. Yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. The AFC South should be coming up next. So, Tyler, you'll get to have some fun talking about your Jaguars. But with that, we're out. I cannot believe you fucking said that.